Welcome to E4 Electric live from Bangkok, Thailand. It is midnight here. Let me know where you're watching me from and exactly what time it is. Now, I had a couple of different guests that I was looking into inviting today, but they're both sick, which is fine because there was no actual rush to have them on. You guys are going to love them, but there is no actual rush because what I wanted to talk about today, and again, I'm picking a topic that I don't think anyone else is going to tell you about. So a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about what it's like to be a passport bro and come to Thailand and live in Thailand, live in a different country compared to America. And I think there are very few people who are honest about what really happens, especially to a single guy who moves to Thailand. And today, I want to talk about what the hell is going on with Tesla, electric car, and just generally influencers and YouTubers, because I've been doing this for almost 8 years, and 6 of them is full-time. But you probably have noticed that things have changed a lot on this channel, including in the last several months. You've probably noticed that things have changed, with your favorite, YouTubers who talk about Tesla or electric cars. And, let me know in the chat right now or in the comment section if you're watching this, in recording, who is your favorite YouTuber is right now, besides, but, and it doesn't have to be an electric car space or Tesla space. By the way, welcome to all of you guys. It looks like there's people watching from the UK, Sweden, and West Palm Beach, Florida. It's exactly the opposite, almost exactly the opposite there. Hope you had a good lunch. So let me tell you some behind the scenes. I don't know if it's secrets because no one's really trying to keep it a secret, but I guess it's an inconvenient truth about what's happening on the back end of what sort of we are doing here. Now, as you know, 10 years ago, a lot of people became, influencers, including myself. A lot of us didn't know that we could earn money on this, or we could even be popular. I mean, I'm 47 now, so I started when I was almost 40. And I didn't think that somebody was gonna watch my old ass talk about electric cars, which wasn't even a thing back then. People thought I was a freak driving a Tesla in 2012, 2013, 2014, right? So this, I got to tell you, most of the YouTubers who I know who've done it professionally for a long time did not plan this. Wanting to be a full-time professional YouTuber is kind of like wanting to be a baseball player or a football player or an actor. It ain't going to happen to you, right? So a lot of us weren't even thinking that way. I actually was kind of, did somebody just post it as me, E4 Electric, saying, let's go? Oh no, that was me. See, talking about old people. All right, so yeah, my chat goes up here, and down in my UI tool. Anyway, don't worry about it. So a lot of people became influencers because we started with this, right? And then, of course, money came in, and some of us were able to kind of stay true to what's in our hearts. Some sold out, and but overall, I feel like, especially with electric cars, you guys got a pretty good idea of what's happening. It was exciting, but that's not what's happening now. Like I said, not with this channel, not with probably your favorite, YouTubers who talk about Tesla and electric cars. Remember Ben Solons? I remember when I started and I was like, oh my God, this guy is amazing. Like, I wish I could be like him one day, and even he earns money on this. It's so crazy, right? And now Ben is kind of, I would say, almost irrelevant, right? Because he kind of gave up on his channel. I know he posts videos once in a while, but it looks like it's only to make some extra money or take an expensive, expense paid trip. I know because I see him on those once in a while, and I kind of see how he behaves there and what he talks about. And again, I don't want to disclose any private conversations I had with him, but he just kind of almost voluntarily became not sort of relevant and wanting to be relevant because he's got other things going on. Some of the YouTubers have, like maybe like Tesla Kim, who's now Kim Java, and who were huge Tesla, influencers and fans, now kind of shifted away from Tesla. Now PJ, her husband, has joined her. It became more of a kind of a family show, maybe a little bit more news, many non-Tesla news. She became more critical of Tesla. I actually just did a reaction to one of her videos that was really cool and funny. And I'm working on another reaction video to her video. So things are a little weird, right? And but there's also like people like was it Electric Viking, right? The guy who like makes 3 videos a day, which is insane. I can see that they're actually not bad, not poorly produced at all. But I can guarantee you that he will absolutely get worn out very quickly. Even if he has a team of people working for him, it is a 24/7 operation that he must be running. I know because I used to do that as well. And people get burned out. Like right now, we're also in the recession. So a lot of money that was pouring into sponsorships and trips and everything has kind of dried up. As you probably noticed, this channel really doesn't have that many sponsors anymore, which is fine. And a lot of us have already earned enough money where we don't really have to do this. Like I and many other YouTubers I know, we can technically retire, especially now that I live in Thailand. So it is definitely, as you can probably notice, different. If you watch YouTube outside of electric car community, you probably know that some YouTubers are quitting. Some because some get banned, right, or demonetized. The censorship has gone up. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, they never treated us well, but they're treating us even worse. I know some people who get demonetized for no reason whatsoever, no explanation, lose their entire income and for no good reason whatsoever. So and also it doesn't take much to become a new influencer. Now, it used to be the algorithms, especially YouTube, where people earn most of the money, would be like, hey, if you have a following, if you have a dedicated subscriber base, you will do well because we will deliver these videos to your audience and people who are like your audience, and you will have pretty decent views. That's kind of over. As a matter of fact, the subscriber count doesn't matter at all. There are plenty of people who have a huge subscriber count and get very little views. For example, my TikTok account. My TikTok account has 500,000 freaking subscribers, and yet lately I can't hit more than 1,000 views there. And when it comes to earning money, it's all about the views. The short form content versus long form content. As you know, these weekly live streams is the only way that I actually make long form content anymore. All of my content now, and I post twice a day now, is 60 seconds or less. But then I have to make a longer version, 2, 3, 4 minutes for TikTok and some other media like Facebook, other social media platforms, because that's the only way to earn money and get some views there. So all of these new rules that social media platforms come up with do not favor OGs like me, right? All of the audiences that we've grown, the expertise that we've grown, don't matter anymore. So it is much harder to make money. It's much harder to find the right audience. The algorithms are running all over the place. YouTube's trying to chase TikTok, and then TikTok's trying to chase, YouTube. There are new social media platforms are coming up. Now X is doing something different now that Elon Musk bought it, right? So things change all the time. It used to be like, hey, listen, like I used to deliver electric car news, and I had a certain format and I had a certain following, and I was able to be relatively comfortable going to bed knowing that tomorrow I can operate in a relatively similar way and I will have a job. Now, none of it is true. None of it is true. From influencers that I personally watch to influencers that I know myself now, whether you're YouTubers or Facebook influencers or TikTokers, everyone's up and down, up and down, and up and down. And some people cannot afford to be down for too long. Right? They cannot afford to be down for too long, so they have to either quit get different jobs and stuff like that, and stop making content. So that's another big deal. That's about a big thing that's essentially slowing everybody down. Now, in my space, particularly in electric cars, when I started, the major publications wanted to have nothing to do with electric cars, right? The Car and Driver, Automobile, Motor Trend, and everything. So early enthusiasts like myself, we would get access and be invited to media drives from all of these manufacturers. We would have access to their CEOs and cars and everything. And we were able to bring you some really cool stuff. But then once electric cars became popular, the Motor Trends of the world, the automobile magazines of the world, the bigger channels that used to talk about gas cars, like Donut, for example. I love that channel. And they started getting, invites rather than us, right? Of course, they'd rather get, Motor Trend and exclusive rather than this random guy. So, but those guys operate very differently, right? Those guys are old school professionals, and they are not, essentially the quality of their content goes down because there's no heart there, right? Where, when influencers like me, Kim, Ben, we all used to really, really, really love this, and so the content had some hearts in it, right? But that unfortunately is now all been taken away from us, and now we kind of can only digest that information secondhand. And on top of that, a lot of these companies that like Inside EVs or even Donut, the channel, right? They get bought by bigger companies with their own policies. They essentially either fired or squeezed out a lot of great talent by not paying them enough or by forcing them to do things they didn't want to do, not giving them creative freedom anymore. I think Donut just lost yet another popular member. As a matter of fact, a lot of talent has left Donut Media because of that, and they've created their own channels, and now they're explaining what happened behind the scenes. I know a lot of stuff that went down behind the scenes of some other magazines. I think the only one that's really kept intact is so far as like Electric out of everybody I know. Yes, somebody mentioned Tesla Time News was Zach and Jesse, but even they have changed, as you noticed. And that brings me to the next sort of point, and that is that, when I started with Tesla and then kind of continued, expanded to electric cars, I don't know if some of you know, my YouTube channel used to be only, and I was one of the first people to buy a Tesla back in 2012. I changed it from Everything Tesla, that was the original name, to E for Electric because I wanted to expand into all electric cars. I mean, I loved Tesla at that time, and I knew that was the brand, but I also wanted to cover other electric cars. And at that time, I already started seeing that Emperor has no clothes with Elon Musk and stuff like that. So, so I expanded to electric cars, and it was great. I mean, there was and I dedicated myself to the news because I love to know what's going on with the latest stuff. I follow politics, I follow tech, and a lot, I was like, let me be the guy who brings it to you guys. And I love doing it. And it sounded like you guys loved watching me. And there was also Nikki from Transport Evolved, which you probably also, if you follow her, she is an excellent journalist. Her news reporting is great. And yet, look, her views, just like mine, has kind of went down and down and down. And it's a shame, and all of that is in favor of Motor Trend that brings you complete bullshit reporting. And I've already made videos why that reporting is bullshit, because now in order to get access to those latest cars and the latest electric vehicles and media drives, you have to kiss their ass. As you know, when I reported once negatively about Volkswagen, they not only stopped sponsoring my channel, they also banned me from all of the media events, right? So whenever Car and Driver or Automobile or whatever other big channels and journalists get access to these cars, they're not even allowed to tell you guys the truth, and we used to, right? So it's a disservice to everybody. But at some point, the electric car news went from very positive and very exciting. Like the new tech was being unveiled, the new prototypes were being unveiled, the new companies were born. All of that, little by little by little, changed into nothing but bad news. I mean, I've recently was called out by a bunch of people, including friends of mine, said, Alex, your channel is not only becoming negative, you sound like you hate electric cars. And I'm like, my God, you're right. And I genuinely decided to say, you know what? I'm only going to report on positive stories, and I'm going to really try to not talk about the negative stories. And that's it, right? And I think I've lasted for about 2 weeks. I'm still trying to, my most positive story has gotten the least amount of views ever since I relaunched my channel into, short form content. And my most negative stories, which I kind of had to make, right? If Donald Trump says something about electric cars, or, Tesla does something that's just crazy, I got to report on that. It is still an electric car news channel, and Tesla is a big part of it. The president or candidate for the president of the United States is still a big part of what's going to be happening with electric cars. So I basically I mean, I'm looking at my numbers, and the more negative I go, which I'm not trying to, right? I'm just trying to report, the more views I get. But when I brought you the story about that brand new Cadillac convertible, that's kind of old school turn electric car, right? They did this beautiful prototype. They shot the commercial in this old school yellowish type of a thing. And there was this beautiful girl in this old fashioned clothing. Like, I loved everything about it. And I thought you guys would as well, but you didn't give a shit at all. And that was a positive story. But whenever I talk about Donald Trump fighting with Elon Musk, or or Cybertruck once again being exposed for yet another flaw, boom, I get a lot of views, or at least the videos that do blow up are all negative. So, and then I look through inside of these stories. I look through electric stories, Jalopnik stories, and I mean, they're just as negative. There is just unfortunately not too many things that are positive that's going on, because a bunch of companies went belly up. The Lordstowns, the Fiskars, and all for really bad reasons. You know what I mean? The money mismanagement, and had nothing to do with their cars. It had a lot to do with how they've mismanaged and got greedy. With Fiskar, there's a bunch of stories coming out how Fiskar literally almost didn't mean to make a car, that he just wanted to get rich, right? And this is the guy I had on my channel. I had Sandy Monroe on my channel, and it was great and wonderful until I realized that he says shit that's, one, not true, and secondly, does not disclose the when he gets paid for manufacturers who he talks about, or he talks about their competitors. So it became a problem in every single way. And as you can see, it wasn't just me, a lot. And I kind of keep my eye on the statistics of other influencers in the same niche, and I don't see anybody going up. Right? There's more electric cars. There are more people buying electric cars. The electric cars are more in the news, but I don't see the original influencers getting more views. At best, the views would be equal. Now, I do have more views now than I had before, but it's because I produce more shorter videos. That's right. I'm just basically, it's a brute force attack almost. But when I was making my regular long form content, I struggled to get the same views, and you can see it pretty much for everybody else. The Electric Viking is an exception, but he's kind of new to the game. He's still producing the content, but sooner or later, right, he's either gonna meet a girl, or I think he's married or whatever. So he's gonna have to pay attention to his personal life, or health issues, or he just wants to have a life. I can tell you that is not very sustainable what he's doing, because I used to do the same thing. I used to do 3 videos per day, pretty much what he's doing right now, and I think I used to do one of them live. But this is why you see a lot of social media influencers either quit or get irrelevant, or having to try all kinds of ideas. Like last year, I tried an idea which was suggested to me by probably one of the biggest YouTube coaches. They're YouTube coaches, believe it or not. There are conferences and classes that you can take and all that stuff. And he basically told me, Alex, do more of the comparisons and reviews of cars and everything. And I hate doing that. And I spent an entire year doing it. And I finally said, I don't want to do it anymore. The views weren't even great, but I just hated doing it. So I decided to do what I do now, which I absolutely love. I make, today I made 4 videos based on comments, based on some news. They're quick, so I don't have to stretch this one news into 10-minute video, right? As a matter of fact, I got to stay under 60 seconds. So my videos, I feel like generally are better quality per each video that you watch. I get to also, even though I don't think people appreciate it, but I try to have something really cool in the background. I film it, at the canals here or rooftops here in Bangkok. Sometimes I go to a park or whatever, or a cat cafe or whatever, and I film there. Yet I've made already 150 videos since the relaunch of the channel, and not a single person mentioned anything that was going on in my background, even though like Bangkok life is kind of exciting if you ask me. So it is. It's a shame, but it doesn't matter. I enjoy taking my camera with me and going out. Sometimes I travel to other countries, other cities. I take my camera with me so you guys can kind of check out where I'm at while I'm talking about whatever news that I'm talking about. So, but at the same time, like I don't really see this also being that sustainable unless something else happens. Now, I'm not going to lie. I've thought about, hey, why don't I just start talking about something else? I'm a single guy who came to a different country specifically because I didn't really want to date an American. I'm having a very interesting experience. I do have a lot to say about what's going on in American Western countries in terms of how, women and men are now interact with each other extremely differently. And I would like to, I see a lot of men who are not happy about their dating lives. And by the way, if you're a single guy watching me here, tell me if you're happy about your dating life. Is it better than it was 5 or 10 years ago or last time you were single, and which country you're in, right? If you're watching me in Thailand or Philippines or whatever, you're probably much happier than if you're watching me from Europe or America. And that's a very unfortunate part. And a lot of men don't know what to do. And I have a lot to share about what to do because I can see the light now that I'm here in Thailand. Even though it's not as amazing and everybody says, oh, you're just going to show up. The first thing that's going to happen to you when you step outside of the airport, it will be 10 women ready to marry you. No, it was not 10. No, there's nobody there. There were a lot of taxi drivers. They definitely wanted to give me a ride home, but no women tried to marry me. So I thought about maybe making videos about that. I'm also learning Thai, and I want to make some videos in Thai now that I speak a little bit for the Thai audience, and there's a couple of other ideas that I have from just other maybe YouTube channels that I would start. So that's something I've been thinking about, and I see a lot of my friends doing that. I also thought about just not making videos at all, just because I'm in Thailand. I have plenty of money to pretty much never have to work in my life. I could just go on a beach, hang out with beautiful women here and eat the amazing Thai food. That's also kind of popped into my mind, or just travel. I just looked into going to Africa, for example. A lot of you probably who know me know why. So, that's also been on my mind, but I do still love electric cars because it incorporates 2 things that I like, technology and cars. I do like doing this, like I know these live streams don't really attract that much attention and not too many viewers, but I do like doing this. I do like talking to you guys. So it's, it is a treat. Like it's midnight. I could have been listening to some live music, just hanging out with a friend, but I came home early, so I took a nap just so I'm able to do this, and I love it. And I do like making my videos. I do still have a lot to say, and as a matter of fact, I think if ever I feel like I need to have a voice, because there are a lot of people who are still preaching to the supreme leader Elon Musk, and a lot of times they mislead their viewers. I mean, how many times I've had people complain saying like, oh my God, I watched a video, reviews of a Tesla Model Y, and then I bought one and it's a mess. And Alex, you have to, and it's like, well, yes, because all of the voices of Tesla fanboys completely drown me out. Somebody saying, hey guys, I would love for you to have an electric car, but if you're buying a Tesla, here's the things that you might want to consider or reconsider or accept and whatever. And sometimes people, I think, do need to buy a Tesla because of, like right now, I have a friend here who wants to buy an electric car, but he doesn't need to travel outside of Bangkok. And, still the Tesla superchargers is the fastest and sort of more available fast chargers here. So if you're going to travel outside of Bangkok in an electric car, well, Tesla is probably your best choice here, even though, like I said, I wouldn't buy a Model 3 and Model Y if my life depended on it. Absolutely do not. I think they're insults to consumers. But in his case, I was like, you know what? Yeah. And my former assistant also just bought a Model Y because, at that time when he needed an electric car, he wanted to buy an electric car, Model Y monthly lease payment was like half of everything else. And he's like, dude, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. I'd rather have you, of course, buy an electric car and pay much less than not buy an electric car or buy a car that you cannot afford, So I was like, okay. And so he drives the Model Y, and but for me, I don't see myself driving a Tesla, or especially Model Y or a Model 3, which are the only essentially two models available here in Bangkok and in Thailand. So all of this is the reason I'm telling you this, because I don't think anybody else would. And this will give you an idea why you're seeing so many channels either change the direction, including this one, or just completely stop making content. Some come back, like Kim Java came back, and I think Ben is now making a little bit more content, and some never come back. Some completely change topics, or some influencers create completely different channels. Like I know a buddy of mine who did this channel that was dedicated to, souped up used cars, right? Gas cars, but nevertheless. And he ended up starting a channel, and that just wasn't bringing enough money, too much competition, all that stuff, even though his videos were really good. And so he started a smaller channel about vacuum cleaners. And I'm like, vacuum cleaners? You're like, yeah, Alex, vacuum cleaners. I have way less subscribers now, but I make so much more money. So, and that's how a lot of, unfortunately, the influencers are. And I got to tell you, if I saw the new generation of YouTubers coming in, or influencers, and doing a much better job than we did in our generation, I would have probably just done one of the two things. One, either say, guys, you're better than me. It's time to go. I'm going to go ahead and retire from YouTube, or I'm going to talk about other topics that I'm probably better suited for, like dating, like talking to men about what they need to do to actually, have a successful dating life, even if it's in America. But my first advice would be get a one-way plane ticket out of there and get your passport. But, or I would be like, okay, I see how these new YouTubers do a better job than me. I'm going to step up my game and try to do better, or at least catch up to them. But I don't see that. I literally do not see. As a matter of fact, I don't even know who these. And it was a good question that literally, as I was thinking, that somebody posted, right? So Mark says, let's see, it takes a while. What is an EV YouTuber and influencer? And that's a good question. I don't know anymore, because people who coming in, they're either crossing over from the existing automotive world, and like I said, I feel like they're kind of jaded and they really never cared about electric cars, or you have these people coming in on the scenes for like one or two videos that become popular, but then the algorithm moves on to the next person. I do my research every day, and I see what are the most popular electric car videos that are in my feed. They're either humongous YouTubers, and those videos are being kept in my feed all the time. So YouTube, who people think is really smart with their algorithm, no. Like, I might have even clicked on some of the videos and watched them. And every time I look at the Tesla or electric car video feed in my YouTube app, it's the same freaking videos. So YouTube is not helping us with their algorithm, which I think is quite stupid at this point. I'm realizing that. And at the same time, the ones that I see, that the new ones coming up, I never see them again. I don't see them establishing an authority, establishing an audience, or whatever. They kind of appear and then disappear. The only one that I see consistently that's kind of entered the scenes lately is electric biking, but I don't think anybody is willing to essentially have no life and make 3 videos a day like he does, even though, like I said, I would say he's the only success story that I know. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch his videos just because there's too many of them and he too much of this. And a lot of times I feel like he's still a Tesla fanboy. I think he might have been changing lately, but there's some stuff that he said about Tesla that was like, okay, I can't hear you, buddy, all the way up in, you know, Elon's column. So I can't see what is the new electric car space, and generally speaking. And you know what? It's not just me. I have a lot of YouTuber friends, influencer friends, people who are just in the industry, and they are just as puzzled. People who've made way more money than me. Oh, whoa! I'm seeing some super chats where you guys just about to pay for my groceries for an entire month here. I'll get to you guys in a second. Thank you, Rob and David. But you know, much smarter, much bigger influencers than me are just as lost, right? I mean, I would get a message from like a major YouTuber going like, dude, my Facebook channel just got demonetized and I don't even know why, and Facebook doesn't want to talk to me. And I was like, what do you mean Facebook doesn't want to talk to you? You've made millions of dollars for them. How are they not talking to you? And why would they demonetize you without, you know, telling you so that you're doing something wrong? And how come you cannot, like, it is like, you know, and as far as producing the new content, you know, you probably, you know, notice the changes on my channel that I've made over and over and over and over again, which is kind of annoying, probably not just for you, but for you guys, for me, but for you guys as well. But I see so many other channels that I like, including dating channels. Like, for example, I was just a guest on one of my most favorite dating channels. It's called Trip Advice. His last name is Trip, Tripp. Advice. And, you know, I was talking about dating, you know, in Thailand versus in America and why I left. But, you know, he used to make amazing videos. They were long form videos and I would listen to them as I drive. But then he started kind of going after this red pill movement type of a thing where you invite women for a discussion and a debate about modern dating and stuff like that. And then he stopped doing that. And then he went back to like doing kind of a sensational videos, which you know, and then now I see him actually doing pretty well on TikTok, making shorter videos. So, and I'm sure he will have to change it again and again and again. And what I'm saying, it's such a disservice, not only to us, but also to you guys, because I'm sure you want some stability. You want some stability in the voices you're listening to, because I like to listen to the same YouTuber over and over again, because I trust that person, right? I know that he didn't sell out, or I know that now he's popular, he has access to so many things I don't have access to, or other YouTubers don't have access to. So I trust them. So it is absolutely amazing that he now has to change, like everybody has to change the format, change audiences, and the algorithm does no longer care that we actually have authority, we have expertise and experience and the audience. Like I said, look at my subscriber count, look at other people's subscriber count, and just know it does not matter at all. So now, let me get to some of the super chats, guys. First of all, thank you so much. You guys are way, way more generous than I ever can expect. All right, we'll start with David at $20. No question, but want to support you. David, thank you so much. You know what? Let me actually ask you a question before I go to the next one, because I think Rob is also who is. Rob, I don't know what I did to deserve this. I don't even get this much money from my mom anymore, I have to say. 50 American dollars. You guys, just so you know, money goes so much further than this. So thank you so much. I know it's hard-earned money. And I'm not kidding. For $50, I can literally have lunch and dinner for like 5 days, you know, because I love Thai food, and Thai food is very, very affordable. The sliced duck fillet over rice with blood cubes and a soup that I love every afternoon, despite my doctor not liking my cholesterol levels going up because of that, it's a $1.80. So thank you so much for this. As a matter of fact, I'm starting to think that maybe instead of trying to get new sponsors, because, you know, I kind of lost all of my sponsors now that I changed the format, maybe I should rely on people who do want to, you know, still listen to my opinions, to watch my videos. And I guess the question would be for you guys, you know, I would like to make some sort of a exclusive content where you'll pay $2, $3, $5 a month, like a subscription, where I can bring something to you of a bigger value. You know, I would love to hear what it could be. Or another thing that I would like to do or try is to produce some sort of product maybe not physical product, but maybe a digital product. You know, a lot of people say, well, Alex, you need to produce a electric car buyer's guide, which, you know, is a good idea on the surface, but so many people have done it for free. I don't think that's going to bring any money. But so if you guys have some ideas of what it is that you would like for me to talk about, that would be a premium content that would actually want to actually pay for, you know, let me know. And as you probably noticed with these live streams, I try to talk about things that are maybe not exactly about electric cars, but about things that I've experienced because of being a YouTuber, because being able to travel, because of living in a different country, that probably a lot of people either can't or won't tell you, right? So Rob, thank you so much. This is insane. Well, I got 2 more super chats. What is happening, guys? I thought I was going to ramble on and on about this, though I do think that everything I said is something that a lot of people are not willing to say out loud, and especially, you know, other influencers. And just so you know what's happening to whoever you're watching, I'm sure you might be experiencing the same thing. As a matter of fact, if you guys don't mind, tell me in the comment section right now, are the YouTubers and influencers that you've been watching change their format? And if so, do you like that they changed it? Or did you end up switching to different YouTubers? Just, I'm kind of wondering, and I think everybody else would want to know. All right, next is Kate Batter. Thank you so much. $5 super chat for your Chipotle diet. Is Chipotle even in Thailand? Unfortunately, no. Chipotle is not in Thailand. For those of you guys who don't know, I absolutely love Chipotle in America for many reasons. First of all, when I became gluten-free in America, that was the only choice. And at that time, I didn't even like Chipotle, but I was kind of forced into having it. And I realized that if I get a certain set of ingredients, I absolutely loved it. And I would have Chipotle pretty much every day. I would have a chicken bowl with chocolate milk. But then with, I think several years ago, they've changed the brand of a chocolate milk. And it went from the best chocolate milk I've ever had to the best chocolate milk I ever had if somebody pissed in it. And I'm not even kidding. So I stopped having it. I ended up having water, just regular water, because I know it's healthier and I'm older. So that's what I had in America. Absolutely love Chipotle. And also it's gluten-free, non-GMO, and most importantly, they only contract out their, you know, meat supply from the farms that are certified humane animal treatment only. As a matter of fact, I remember one time I come in, and even though I don't usually get pork, but I realized that the place where pork is just empty. And I'm like, what happened with that? And they're like, hey, you know, our corporate found out of some mistreatment of animals in some of those farms, and we just threw away all the meat, ended the contract, even though we don't have a new one. So once we get a new one, then we'll start selling pork again. So they lost money over something that probably no one would ever found out, because that farm they were contracting with, or supplier, did not treat, obviously, their pigs well enough. And I love that. So no, there's no Chipotle in Thailand, but what I do have here regularly is the sliced duck. But also lately I found this place is called Jones's Salad. There's a play on words here in Thai language. I don't want to bother you with that or bore you with that, but they have very healthy dishes. They just started selling like almost like burrito-like. They're called wraps, and I absolutely love that one. And they sell probably one of the best fruit salads I've ever had. Just the mix of the nuts and berries and the type of fruit and the type of yogurt it's in, and it's a very healthy place. It's a healthy food. So that's where I kind of spend a lot of my time eating. But I'm not gonna lie, because you know I love McDonald's. At the end of the day, McDonald's is my most favorite restaurant. I know you're probably throwing up in your mouths right now, but I love it. And in America, I couldn't have McDonald's because I was gluten-free. And this is how bad the food in America is, guys, and I hate to tell you this, but I could not process gluten, and a lot of people like me were gluten intolerant until we left and went somewhere else. And I already knew, I mean, I traveled a lot over the last few years, thankfully, because of my channel. And I just knew it from reports from other people that when you go to a different country, they don't essentially, I don't want to use this word or this video gets demonetized, F up the food and GMO the food to the point, the wheat specifically, that's what gluten is, to the point where you just essentially get food poisoning all the time. So here I can have McDonald's, and I do have to say that once a week, sometimes twice a week, I eat at McDonald's. So, and generally speaking, I try not to eat any type of Western food. Like I don't go to Starbucks. The coffee shop that I work out of is called Bellini's. It's amazing, freshly baked food and baked goods and tea and all that stuff. It's an amazing coffee shop and that's where I go. So somebody says $50 is not that much. Well, then feel free to be the next super chatter then. Yeah, but to me, listen, to me, $50 is a lot, even in America, even though I've earned good money in America. So, and honestly, any money that you take from yourself and contribute to me so I can continue doing this is, I think, a lot of money no matter what, because it's not my money, it's your money and you're giving it to me and I really appreciate it. So, all right, the next one is Mr. Fester, $10. Maybe this will give you a couple of Oliangs. I have a feeling that I'm going to sound completely ignorant and stupid right now, because am I supposed to know what this is? Oliangs. Maybe I don't know the English word for it, but let me know what those are, because now I feel like, should I Google this? I'm going to Google this, because I'm definitely cutting this out from the final version of this, because I have a feeling I'm just, okay, Oliangs. I still don't know what it is. And it's definitely misspelled because Google is screaming at me. Oliangs. All right, you're going to have to correct it because I don't know what this is. All right. But thank you so much. Whatever it is that I have, I appreciate it using this money. Kagai soup. You know what? I'm not into soups that much. So I don't really like. I like pho. So when I go to Vietnam, I've been in Vietnam a couple of times now. I'll have some pho. Well, okay. Oh, bro, you can be generous, but not that generous. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So yes, I appreciate it. All right. Are there any more super chats? Okay, I don't think there are any super chats yet, but thank you so much, guys. Like, this is amazing. Thank you. All right, let me go back and work my way up through your comments. And if, like I said, if you have any questions about what I didn't say, or feel free. I will. Mr. Faster says iced coffee. I don't drink coffee, but Thai iced tea is amazing, and here it's even more amazing. Though I do have to say that Thai food here is not that much more delicious than in America, because in America Thai food is already very delicious, and I would even say in Europe, because pretty much all Thai places that I've ever had, food at in America and Europe are all run by actual Thai people who at some point lived in Thailand. So that's why when you guys go to a Thai restaurant, most likely you're going to get a pretty authentic Thai food. But I would always ask them where they live, because it does matter. And by the way, the cuisine does matter, does change with depending on, like, Thailand is a small country, but every region is very, very different. Even the way they speak, man, even the way they speak and the words they use in different regions is very different. All right. Let's see. Ferris Khan says TikTok also has a longer 5-minute format. Actually, it's up to 10 minutes now. Good growth opportunity for them. Tempting to just post there instead of a YouTube. Here's the thing. I always, like, as I consume TikTok, to me, it's specifically for the short form content. For example, I like stand-up comedy. But am I going to watch someone's stand-up comedy on YouTube for an hour? No. But would I like to see just have a little bit of joke, hear a bit of joke from Louis C.K., joke from Anthony Jeselnik, joke from someone who I don't know? Some stand-up comedians who just got popular on TikTok, like Matt Rife, and there's some less famous comedians that I like. I would like to get here, a little bit of here, a little bit of there. I want to see a quick cat video. I want to see a quick summary of what's going on with the American election. As you know, we got some shit going on here too today. So, and I don't want to watch a 20-minute or an hour video from any of these people, and I like them. So it's kind of weird to post longer videos on TikTok, but YouTube forces everybody who wants to produce short form content to 60 seconds or less. That's what I produce, but I now started also having a bit of a couple of minute rant afterwards, and then my editor puts that kind of almost like bonus material, and that's what I at the end of my regular 60-second video, and that's what I post on TikTok and a couple of other platforms like Instagram and Facebook. Like Facebook likes much longer content. But what I'm saying is it's changing every freaking day, right? I mean, my short form content did really well on TikTok 3 years ago. That's how I got my 500,000 subscribers there. But now they don't even want to monetize you if you're making videos under 60 seconds, which is insane. All right, next one from Pierre. One new YouTuber that I adopted the electric Viking is Dave Takes It On. Takes It On. He did videos. Dave Takes It On. Or Dave Takes It. I don't know. I never heard of him. He did videos on charging and now sits ranting on bad AVs, not anything positive than to Tesla. Well, that's another thing, right? There's very little positive to talk about because people are fucking up. This, Rivian used to be a sweetheart of the startup, right? And then how many negative videos I had to produce about Rivian, starting the ones that I myself witnessed. It was like exclusive reporting. And, my negative video about Rivian, over almost 1 million views together, and their EV departments are full of idiots. Because if I was working for Rivian, like the PR department at Rivian, it's their job to reach out to someone like me and say, "Hey, you used to be a fan. I'm sorry you're having some a very different opinion on us. Can we have you over? Can we talk? Can we maybe show you, explain you something that maybe will change your opinion? You know what I mean? Or yes, if your audience has this concern, we'll absolutely commit to maybe fixing or addressing something." But that's not what they do. They basically say, "Oh, you don't like us anymore? Fuck you." And then you're never invited, right? RJ used to be a great CEO who was, a sweetheart and always said the right thing on camera, behind the camera. And now they're blindly screwing people over. Same thing with Elon Musk. Same thing what's happening with Volkswagen Group. They kicked Herbert Diess out, someone who was doing something really good for Volkswagen, and they put the worst person in charge, and he's fucking things up now. So it's just so hard. And then, yes, there will be a bunch of YouTubers who will basically continuously still bow to the supreme leader, Elon Musk, even though he's gone so off the rails. I don't understand why shareholders still like him when he's literally working against Tesla. But as I said in my video that I recorded today, you guys probably didn't see it yet. Not probably. You didn't see it yet because I didn't edit and upload it yet. But essentially, let's see what happens with the Q3 delivery numbers, right? My guess is that he's alienated so many liberals by supporting Donald Trump that his sales are just going to suffer because a lot of Democrats will say, well, I don't want to, I want to buy a Tesla, but if I buy a Tesla, I'm going to give my money to Tesla. Some of it goes to Elon Musk, and then he's going to promote Donald Trump, the guy that I really hate. So I don't want to give him my money anymore. And there are so many choices now in America, in Europe, that people easily switch to a different brand. So let's see. Now, I know their sales are still going relatively strong in China because nobody cares about our election there. But I bet here in America, especially, the sales should really, really suffer or not. We'll see. I say just looking at some polls that people did about, what people who are liberal and Democrats think about Tesla and Elon Musk and how it affects their, desire to buy a Tesla, it sounds like it's going to be a disaster. Or I'll be proven wrong, and I'll be like, yeah, it doesn't matter what Elon Musk does as long as he produces cars that people like, whatever. Kind of like with Michael Jackson, I guess, right? So we'll see. But from what I'm seeing right now, the Q3 is going to be big indication of what is really happening with that. Mark Davis. I feel like I know you. Let me know if I do. Okay, just curious why, it's a very common name too. Just curious why you wouldn't choose a Model Y or Model 3. Because it's an insult to me as a customer. First of all, when I had a Tesla in America, and I still have over 100,000 people, Tesla owners in my Facebook groups, I see so many complaints about poor customer service, poor treatment of customers. I was definitely one of them. And when I was treated well, at some point I realized because I was an influencer, and when my girlfriend showed up, and they didn't know who she was, she got treated like shit. And I know that hasn't changed really. So customer service is number one. Number two, I mean, if you look at a Model Y and Model 3 specifically, first of all, no head-up display and no instrument panel. I'm sorry, but the most important information about my car, like my speedometer, the state of charge, or whatever, needs to be in my line of sight. That is just what logic says. So when I have to look to the side because Elon wanted to make more money because they saved money, and that was, by the way, that was the only reason for it. The reason the Model Y, Model 3 does not have a head-up display or the instrument panel is because they wanted to make Tesla as cheap as possible, because he wanted to make a $35,000 Tesla, which ended up being only the case for 2 months when they were actually selling it for $35,000. So no way, I don't want it. You know what I mean? It's like even Prius has one. So number one. Number two, there is no Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. To me, it is very important when I get into a car and my life is on my phone with the directions where I'm going, with the text messages that I'm receiving and sending, with whatever my post YouTube video is. I want everything be automatically and magically transferred to the screen over there. That's not what happens in cars that don't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Absolute deal breaker. Also, when I'm driving a car and I have air conditioning on, I want to be able to adjust the vent, whether it's blowing in my face or somewhere else, without having to dig into my screen because I'm freaking driving. I used to, in any other car pretty much, you can just, adjust it. Not in a Tesla. You have to go into the interface and essentially, I don't want to say risk your life, but definitely pay less attention to the road just to adjust the vents. What else? The fact that those cars, I don't even know if they have it now, but I think the latest model does. The blind spot indicators on the mirrors. Again, saving money with a very important feature. Door handles. Now, not only they used to burn your hand when it's on the sun and then completely, freeze into the door where you can't open the door without burning your hand or not being able to open the door or charge port. I think they fixed that problem, but that was a problem for a while. Also, this minimalistic look is just, I'm sorry, you still have to have a design for a minimalistic look. There's still design to it. But these cars just look cheap to me. I just don't want to get into the car like that. When I drove a Model Y, I remember in America, I drove it in the evening time, and I couldn't see my freaking hands because there's no lights anywhere near the wheel. There's nothing on the steering wheel that lights up. And I was like, I don't see my freaking hands. So, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on, but just to me, it's complete insult to me as a customer. So sorry for the rant, but you kind of, Will Burke says FSD is still awesome. Absolutely not. There's no such thing as an FSD. There's no full self-driving that any Tesla has. It is absolutely not full self-driving, unless you spelled full wrong, because I think you have to be at this point. I'm sorry, I'm going to offend some of you, but if you dished out $15,000 or $10,000 for something that's been promised over and over and over again, and it's not happening, and it's probably not going to happen, as a consumer, you're a fool. It's not a full self-driving. I think it's a scam when you're trying to sell something that is you're saying is going to be one thing and you never deliver and you take people's money. So yeah, you don't have FSD. Sorry, you have this thing that's called FSD, but All right, and another super chat from Mark Davis says, "What about the Y or 3 you disagree with?" Okay, so I just already answered that. But thank you for $4.99. I don't know why I didn't deserve that extra cent, or maybe I deserved the extra 99 cents. Who never knows. But I always wonder why do people super chat, like it's a sale at the dollar store. By the way, I'm not making fun of you at all. I've always warmed my heart. So thank you, Mark, for essentially $5, which is about 160, 170 Thai baht here. All right. Any other super chats? No. David says, FSD only on sunny days on perfect marked roads, not in Chicago blizzard. Here's the thing, and it's another video that I made today talking about FSD because Oh, what was the news that I was baking? Oh yeah, it was yet another video of someone who's actually a fan who basically, was showcasing the latest FSD version, and then not only the car ended up trying to make a left turn where it shouldn't have, which essentially would have probably could have caused an accident. It also, I could see it, veering into the wrong side of the road, and then it ended up parking it in the handicap parking spot. My problem is this: it doesn't matter how often and how much FSD works. The problem is if it doesn't, you may die, and because it happens still way too often, and even one time per year is probably way too often. It's not. And by the way, and here's another point: Tesla tells you one thing, right? It's full self-driving, or it's going to be full self-driving very soon. It's amazing, but when they go to court to argue with DMV or another, government entity that once in a while decides to sue them, which I think they should do more often, when Tesla argues in court where they have to have arguments and evidence and facts, they tell the court something completely opposite than they tell you. They tell the court, and by the way, don't take my word for it. Go and read the transcripts or the written responses to the judge from Tesla's lawyers. They're saying, whoa, full self-driving? We don't know nothing about full self-driving. We're very clear about this. This is a level 2 driver assistance software. We never said it was going to even a level 3. So when they have to tell the truth, they tell the court is that it's level 2. But then when they're trying to take $15,000 from you, they tell you, oh, it's full self-driving. Yeah, and guess what? It's going to be even better next year. And it rarely does. So let's see. All right, Wayne says, I love my autopilot in the Model S. By the way, autopilot is great. Autopilot is a great feature. It comes pretty much for free and does a lot of great, probably one of the better driver assist software out there. I'm talking about the FSD, right? Let's see. Well, there's a bunch of people agreeing with me that FSD is a scam, but I don't think that's really a stretch. Cake Batter, one of the super chatters, once again, thank you, says, I own a Model 3 and it's obvious they cut corners all over it, and FSD is a parlor trick at best. Yeah, so don't forget, they cut corners when it was basically a matter of surviving for Tesla, right? And I get it, but they haven't improved the car. By the way, go and look at go to your Amazon account and look at the instrument panels. No other car model other than Model 3, Model Y, which is essentially the same car, right? One has just let itself go a little. Has more add-ons, especially the instrument panel, than the Model Y and Model 3. I mean, people make bank selling products that are essentially missing in a Model Y and Model 3 because they're missing and people want them. That's why you see tons. I mean, there are pages of instrument panels. Why? Because people want an instrument panel. They like it. It's also a safety feature. Or head-up displays, right? I mean, Volkswagens now have augmented reality head-up displays. Now, Mercedes and BMWs have it, but you can buy a regular Volkswagen ID4 in Europe, and it will have an augmented reality head-up display. I mean, that is a next level shit that Tesla is not even thinking or promising you, right? But at the same time, like I said, if you like a Model 3, I would rather have you buy a Model 3 and Model Y over a gas car, So, absolutely. Let me start scrolling back to, all right, well, somebody says that, I don't know how to pronounce your username, sorry. FSD from 12.3 is now useful. Before it was more like supervising a 15-year-old with a learner's permit. Yeah, listen, it could be useful. It's not $15,000 paid for it useful, or even $100 a month paid for it useful. And you probably mean useful as a driver assistant, not as a full self-driving, because it is not. It's just not. I mean, don't shoot the messenger. I'm sorry. Let's see. I'm just trying to find the... okay, Will Burke says, yeah, the lack of a dash display is stupid. as in event adjustment, so I bought an S. Yeah, when I owned Teslas, I only bought the Model S. I mean, obviously, it was the only one available when I bought the first one in 2012. But I think Model S and Model X are excellent electric cars. I would buy one if it wasn't for Tesla's now image and shitty customer service. But they don't sell them here anyway, and we have so many amazing Chinese cars, guys. Yeah, it's insane. Let's see. Here's an interesting comment. Shipping out the Teslas with taking away some important things like the stocks. Soon it will be the yes, I do have to say that other manufacturers copied stupid shit from Tesla, including those stupid door handles, including no head-up display or no instrument panel, and it sucks. It sucks that, yeah, I understand why they did it, because they said, well, everybody wants to buy this car, we should make one just like that. But like, for example, BYD. BYD is a big competitor. As a matter of fact, they're kicking Tesla's ass here. BYD Auto 3 is a competitor for the Model Y. BYD Seal is a competitor for the Model 3. You know, they have some features that are so simple to do. Like their screens rotate. You want a vertical screen? No problem. You want a horizontal screen? No problem. Even the BYD Dolphin, which is like a really compact, I think it's $15,000 car, they're all over the place. That one has a same feature as well. And I bet it's not that expensive to do. Nothing from Tesla. Mr. Fester says, I just got back from Norway. It's a EV utopia. I was there last year, and it is EV heaven. From Steve from Scotland says, I sold my Tesla and bought an MG, far better car. I did it because Musk degenerated England when he's just a racist. Yeah, I mean, I don't know I know what's going on with Elon, but he used to be an amazing person, at least on the screen, right? And now he's a lunatic on the screen. So I'm actually just about to have access to the MG Cyberster, you know, essentially the Tesla Roadster second generation type of a car. I saw one as I came out of my apartment complex the other day, and I was like, oh my God, are they being delivered? So I called my MG contact, and they're like, yeah, we already delivered 100 here. So, and it doors open like this, and it's only like starts at like $60,000 or $70,000 equivalent here. So I think next week or the week after, I will actually be able to drive one myself and check it out for myself. So yeah, I mean, MG is also kicking ass here as well. Okay, so maybe we'll get back to, because I'm scrolling to the comments when I was still talking about, you know, YouTube and stuff like that. Your man says, being courageous is doing what you believe is the right thing, regardless of the consequences. The great thing about Elon and Musk is that they agreed. Elon and Musk? You mean Elon and Trump? Is that they agree to disagree on issues they think differently, which really almost none. I'm assuming you meant Elon and Trump. I did not like that. I don't know if you guys saw Elon interviewing Trump, where he said so many ridiculous things when it comes to like green energy and climate change. I was like, is this AI talking for Elon? Because he literally said so many things opposite of what he said about climate change only like a few years ago. Man, this is upsetting, honestly. Jared the Geek says, I'm going to make an even worse decision and buy the upcoming electric Dodge Charger Daytona. I just made a video about the electric Dodge Charger because they're still trying to figure out what sound it needs to make to please both sides. I think that's kind of ridiculous. They should make a silent Dodge Charger as an electric car and continue making a very, very loud one, gas one, because that's the target audience at the end of the day. Now, the EV one will be kicking the other one's ass, but it is what it is. Yeah, I have access now to the supercharger network, but I will never use them if Elon is in charge. I'm telling you, the sentiment of people not wanting to buy a Tesla or use Tesla services because of what Elon has become. And on top of that, now he's essentially endorsed one of the presidential candidates. Doesn't even matter which one it is. You know, it doesn't matter which one. The other side is going to hate him. You're going to alienate your customers. And honestly, I don't know if it's illegal for a CEO to essentially work against the the company's best interests. But because the board of directors is basically his buddies, no one's going to kick him out unless the stock starts going down. Listen, I don't know if it's going to happen, but the way I see it, the sales are going to go down because not only there's much competition and Tesla has not been upgrading their cars. Now they came out with a Cybertruck that I think, besides the original and initial surge of Tesla fanboys buying them, and it looks like they pretty much worked their way through the entire 1.5 million reservation queue, which I'm still part of, by the way. You can now just literally walk in and get yourself a Cybertruck like ordered right away because they ran out of people who want to buy them. And that's probably going to be another problem with their sales. And by the way, they just, they promised a $40,000 Cybertruck when they unveiled it 4 years ago. Then when it came out, and even though it's not even available, the lowest price was $60,000. And the other day they removed that option, and the cheapest Cybertruck that you can order right now is a $100,000 Cybertruck, which it seems that there's no more people in that original queue of reservation holders want. So I think on top of Elon taking one side of the political spectrum and already having some problems selling Model 3s and Model Ys, Tesla is literally the only EV maker that is made and sold less cars, electric cars, in the last quarter, year over year, than anybody else. Everyone else's sales went up and Tesla's went down year over year. And now on top of that, he is going to have problems selling the Cybertruck. So I think the sales will go down. I think the stock will go down, and that chip is going to start thinking very, very quickly. I hate to see that happen, but I think that's where we're going with this. Let's see. Jorge says, okay, I guess nobody wants to talk about the YouTuber crisis, but okay. I've definitely seen it. I follow all the EV forums, and there are so many people buying Lucids, Rivians, Kias, and so on, many who also post their reasons why. Well, I think some of the reasons is because they don't want to go with a Tesla, or they just thought that their cars are better, which a lot of times they are. I gotta say. Jared the Geek once again, one of the superchargers, super chats. Says I love my Model 3 and the charging, but I won't buy another Tesla. It's not even just about Trump, but all the misinformation and lies he spreads. I'm assuming you're talking about Elon Musk. Yeah. Honestly, it is very sad. It really is. All right, I'm gonna go back to the queue because I'm not able to catch up and again, I guess we moved on talking about electric cars, which is kind of weird on the electric car channel, I guess. But my original a topic was about what's been happening with my channel, with electric car channels, with Tesla channels, and generally YouTube and social media. Rohit says, in the European Union, we don't get many of Chinese EVs, not yet. And you have an amazing one in NIO with battery swap. Our only choice is Tesla, basically, at least price-wise. It depends on what part of EU you live in, but no, you have 3 to 4 to 5 automakers, Chinese automakers, already selling their electric models in some of the countries. I don't know which country you're in. You absolutely have BMWs and Mercedes. I mean, Mercedes alone has 7 or 8 electric car models. BMW has 3, 4, 5 now. You absolutely have lots of choices. I mean, I was in Europe just a couple of months ago, back in June or May, and I went to 3 different countries that are all quite different from another. It was Sweden, Austria, and Czech Republic. And I've seen all kinds of electric cars all over the place. You absolutely have choices, but again, depends on which country you're in. Will has an interesting observation. He says, it's funny people in the chat are getting Musk and Trump mixed up. I got to tell you, without being political, they are very similar people. The way they are now, right? They kind of both run cults, I would say. And some people are happy to be part of the cult. And I was part of the Elon Musk cult when it was good. I thought it was good, but people who are part of it now think that it's still good, right? Or good now. So yeah, I know. With Donald Trump, like I said, I don't live in America anymore. I'm not registered to vote. I'm actually, if I want to register to vote again, it would have to be either California or Texas, and my vote won't count in either one of them, so I don't want to go through the trouble. If I could have registered in Nevada, where my company is registered in, which I, by the way, moved out of California, I would have at least wanted to vote. But you guys probably know that I'm independent, and I think both parties, or both sides, not necessarily parties per se, are ruining America in two very different ways with an equal negative outcome, I think. And that's one of the reasons I left the United States. And I think I made it right. I know I made the right choice. Now that I see how freely I can even talk here in Thailand, and once I learn Thai, I will be able to speak freely in Thai as well. Thai people are very honest, okay? So, yeah, but that's a whole different story. I think I already made a video about it last week or the week before. ChatGPT, says Mr. Fester, according to recent analysis, almost a fifth of electric car vehicles sold in Europe last year were made in China. Okay, so let's distinguish. That's probably true with an asterisk because, for example, Volvo, that used to be a Swedish company. I mean, Volvo is still a Swedish company, and I actually just visited them when I went to Sweden. But it was basically, now they do trucks and industrial equipment. They sold the Volvo cars to a Chinese company, Geely, and Volvos are now made in China. So this, 1/5 or 19.5% does calculate those. I think BMW iX3 also made only exclusively in China and has to be imported into Europe. So Chinese made, yes, but made by Chinese manufacturers, probably not even close. I'd be surprised it's even 3%. So it's mainly brands that that are just have factories that make those cars in China. Here's a comment about what we actually were talking about in the beginning. I talked with one YouTuber who has changed his channel name. He said having Tesla in the name leads to people expecting him to only talk only about Tesla. Not only that, I pretty much can speak for him when I tell you is that not only they expect you to talk about Tesla, they expect you to only talk positively about Tesla. Tesla, fanboys are extremely allergic to any type of criticism. If you say even one thing that they disagree with, that Tesla is a little bit flawed or Elon Musk is a little bit flawed, oh my goodness, they jump on you quite quickly. Let's see. Jorge says, I still follow some popular EV YouTubers, but really prefer novice actual owners doing videos about their vehicles. Well, that's something that I talked to before, right? So a lot of people would watch a video of somebody who made a video with their car, for example, and not necessarily a YouTuber who just happened to have one or two, videos about that one car that went popular. But there's only so many videos you can make about that one car, even if it's, let's say, a Cybertruck. Sooner or later, your channel is going to go down, right? If that's the only car you have. But also, I would argue that who doesn't own any electric cars right now, can tell you more about that same car than the person who actually owns it. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I think this is a mistake that a lot of people making, Jorge, is that, just because someone who has a car and drives it a lot actually knows more about this car than someone like me who went to the factory where it's made, who talked to the designers and people who made the car, who's talked to the PR people and some of the executives and knows where that car is going with the next generation and so forth, who talked to the people who made a decision to have something in that car or not have some technology in the car, who explained to me why it's made this way and not made. So I would have all of this information about that very same car, and I can also talk about the cup holders, and a lot of us obviously test drive these cars on a media drive, so we know if they're comfortable and so forth. Now, don't get me wrong, driving a car for a long time does give you a bit of a better understanding of the details. Like when I had an ID4, I made some videos about it, but I also always told people that, hey, the only reason I'm making videos about problems with my ID4 is because I own one of many EV owner groups. I own an ID4 group with over 10,000 members, and I see a lot of them having the same problem. So the only reason I'm making this video is because other people have the same problem. But if you're just making a video when you have a same problem or a same feature that you like, or the way that your car drives or feels or whatever, you're still only representing yourself. It's kind of like me reviewing a sushi restaurant, which I think is always stupid, because a sushi, a certain piece of sushi can, or any food can taste really good to me, and then you may absolutely hate it. Like, I just went out with one of my best friends here, and she ordered what's that horrible drink that I thought tasted like somebody pissed in my bottle, and she loved it. Kombucha, I think, right? Two human beings, two completely. So if she was to make a review of that drink, she would tell you how amazing it is, right? And if I was to make a review of the very same drink, I would be like, guys, don't, right? So that's a problem with people making videos with their own cars. I think you get a bit of a shortchanged, actually a lot, because they can only tell you about their specific experience. As a matter of fact, if you live in a northern states or northern countries where it's snow and cold weather, and you're watching somebody who lives in California or in Thailand where it's always hot, you're probably not going to hear about some problems or solutions that you need when it's cold and it's snowing and it's in your part of the country or in your country. So, like I said, I think that it's great that those owners make those videos, but as an overall information delivery professional, I think, and I know I can do it way better, because I have so much more information from a wider variety of sources that I will absolutely have much more useful information for you. Let's see. Jorge says, you may be the exception, but not the rule. And that happens a lot, actually. Doug DeMuro gets so much wrong or doesn't really know the ins and outs, just as an example. Well, Doug DeMuro is actually he's considered to be one of the best car reviewers, not just EV car reviewers, and he does really, really do in-depth reviews. I only met him once. Very nice guy. Didn't even use a cameraman. I didn't know what I would have done without having a cameraman, but he just does it all by himself. And me and my assistant offer him. I say, hey, Doug, you need some he's like, nah, I got it. Cool, Doug. But I don't know anything in particular that that Doug would ever gotten wrong. But like I said, I don't watch the long reviews of a car unless I really am going to buy one. And even then, I'd rather show up to the dealership and do it myself. All right, long snow SM. Did I get it right? He says, I love watching Kyle Connor, but I have watched enough now to know let him have some time to get past the new gushy feelings, and then he will let it slip. Now he really thinks about it. All right, so I don't like Kyle Connor. I have talked to him in person. I met him in person. I see what kind of people he hangs out with and how he makes his videos and how his opinion is shaped. As a matter of fact, I've called him out several times from some bullshit that he said, or said this one thing about one car and then another, about another car, or took a luxury trip here, and then, shitted on the rest of the people who took a luxury trip with a different brand. I don't like him. I don't like his lack of journalistic integrity. So that's just me. I would rather get my information from people who are honest and good. Electric car reviewers like Tom Malogny, for example. And even though I don't like Fred from Electric personally, I think he's quite a decent journalist myself. One of the best. Not better than Tom, but definitely one of the best, I would say. But like I said, watch wherever you want to watch. I just know things are different. What are you guys talking about here? I don't even understand about the dictatorship. How are you talking about? All right. Sorry, some of the comments I just don't know what you guys are talking about. All right, Brian says Musk and Trump similar. No fucking way. Musk is at least intelligent. Okay. I will give you that. I agree. However, what I'm talking about in terms of similarity is that how they conduct themselves publicly, right? So, for example, is Musk smart enough to, know that it's not a good idea for a CEO of a publicly traded company where you actually have legal duties to your shareholders to endorse a candidate from one of the two parties? It is extremely fucking dumb, right? But he couldn't contain himself and he did it anyway. So is he a smart man? Yes. But he's a smart man who does more and more dumb things like that. Does Elon Musk know that climate change is real and you have to fight it, and electric cars is one of the ways you fight it? Yes. And he said it many times. But not during the interview with Donald Trump the other day, right? As a matter of fact, he said some things that, oh, guys, I mean, he literally said it. You don't be too hard on the oil industry. They do some good, which is true, but you can be hard on the oil industry because they do a lot of shit that he has fought, and they're still refusing a lot of times to actually change their ways and start producing green energy, start investing into green energy. Though some of them do, like Chevron and stuff like that. So so what brains are going to do for you if you're still going to do and say stupid shit? So is your statement true, Brian? Yes. But is the result different because of that? I think no. As a matter of fact, I mean, like I said, I'm an independent, so I don't like either one of the candidates. Even with Harris in the race now, I know she's very popular. That's fine, but I think there are some things that Trump has done that are good for the country, right? Now, did he do it because he was really educated on the issue or had great advisors? Probably not, but he did end up doing some good things for the country that I agree with. And did, let's say, Barack Obama's administration, that you can argue is much more educated, much more vetted, right? Did they do a lot of stupid shit? They did. So being smart does not always translate into smart actions, and I think Elon has done less and less of those. Does that make sense? All right, let me now Jeff says that you still need oil for tires and roads. Oh yeah, no, listen, you need oil to power the 18-wheelers or deliver parts and power up the electricity for a lot of factories that make electric vehicles and green products like chargers and solar panels and inverters and stuff like that. It's going to be a while. We do need it. But what I'm saying is that it's weird to hear Elon Musk trying to promote a Republican candidate that's always been more on the side of the oil industry say, hey, take it easy on those poor oil companies. Don't hurt their feelings. It's just like weird. It's just, Mr. Faster agrees with me, especially with my taste buds. Says kombucha tastes like vomit to me. It's exactly what it tasted like today, but it is good for your belly. It is good, right? Like if you drink that over Coca-Cola, you are doing yourself a great service versus doing yourself a great disservice. Yeah, disservice, yeah. Let me see. Are there any more super chats? I'm sorry if I missed one, but I don't think I did. Let me scroll back to, because I missed so many comments, guys. I'm really sorry, because once I was trying to tell you on the original topic, I was really, okay, here's a good one. And this is from Joker MP1, who I haven't seen comment lately, but he's always in the chat and spending my Wednesday nights with me, even though it's a Thursday now. Holy crap, did I talk? Oh, wow, we've been hanging out for an hour and a half? Holy crap, okay. All right, a few more, okay? He says, Tesla doesn't care about making a budget-friendly cars. Here's the thing, Tesla shouldn't care, because I don't think they are a budget brand. I think they are an electric car, luxury, high-tech brand. Luxury or high-tech brand, mainly high-tech. So I don't think it's Tesla who should be producing, cheap electric cars, affordable electric cars. I think this is up for, to the brands that kind of more known for it and live off of a high volume, like Volkswagens and Kias and Hondas and Toyotas. So I think those brands, I can see them making cheaper electric cars. But I don't think Tesla should care about it, you know. Cake Butter asked me, are you doing any collabs with any non-EV influencers who are also expats? Well, what would my collab be about, though? I mean, Warren, who is technically a Tesla influencer, I did a few with him. As a matter of fact, the reason I've even started doing this Wednesday night or Wednesday live streams is because me and him, you know, now that he lives here in Bangkok, and we've, just to answer your question, we have made some videos together about electric cars, but also about moving to a different country because of the relationships and what the difference are and all that stuff. He also lived in Japan before that. You know, I said, hey, Warren, now that we'll kind of live in the same thing. And we kind of became friends behind the scenes, kind of, sort of. You know, he said, yeah. And I kind of asked him throughout many months if he wanted to do it. And he said, yes. But finally, when it came, you know, time to do it, he did one. And then he just flaked on the next one. And then he said he doesn't have time to do it anymore. Yeah. So I did collaboration with him. But, you know, it would have been fun to have these conversations with him because it's always going to be two different sides. But I don't know who else I would do it with. So they would have to be English speaking, right? And I don't know what the topics would be. I would like to. Okay, Fred says, do you have a T-rack yet? What's a T-rack? This is the second word that I don't know today. Rise and Shout says, solutions are found in people like State of Charge. That's one of my best friends, Tom Malogny, and the best electric vehicle, probably automotive journalist. He actually buys the good and bad EV stuff and tests it online. The problem was seeing people like Tesla Daily gain success with no real value. Yeah, I mean, what's the other guy who makes Tesla videos that just completely lives up to, you know, in all the way up into the neighborhood in Elon's colon? I forget, but I forgot. But something style. Anyway, yeah, listen, if you're running a Tesla channel and you are essentially praising the supreme leader and telling everybody how great Tesla is, you're going to get a lot of clicks. That's just fact. I chose not to do that because I like to sleep well at night. And I think the most important thing that I have, even though people question this all the time, is my journalistic integrity. I've never done anything wrong or immoral or illegal, for sure. So that's still, I'm very proud of that. Jared the Geek says Tesla is Apple, neither is luxury, but both charge a premium price for the technology. So I don't know if Apple can be considered or not. Like, are there any luxury brands when it comes to smartphones? You know, I don't know. But yeah, Tesla probably is, well, you know, can be equated to Apple. Let's see. Some people are still joining the beginning of the stream. Bradley says he is from North Carolina. Never been, but maybe one day. I mean, I doubt I'm going to be going to America anytime soon. I do want to go back because I'm not going to lie, I missed some really amazing experiences and places. Like the other day, I literally spent like half an hour looking at all of the pictures, videos that I've ever taken in my most favorite place on earth, even though I've been to like 26, 27 countries now, which is Santa Cruz, California, adjacent to Capitola Beach. I used to go there every week. It's a magical place. I absolutely love it. I miss it. There's some places of Oakland, California, like the best jazz club I've ever been to with the best soul food is called Jeffrey's. And the District, one of my favorite just places to have dinner and hang out and meet women, actually, in Oakland, is called the District. And I've been going there for over a decade since it's opened, and I still follow them on social media just to see little pictures and videos of their latest, you know, events and stuff like that. So I do want to come back. I have stockpiled like 250 at this point, 1,000 travel miles for United. That way I can go back and forth if I have to, but I'm also saving it for some like emergencies maybe. So yeah, I don't know if unless I get on another media trip, which I think I will be going to less and less of these media trips, and probably will stop probably another half a year, because nobody really wants to invite me anymore because I've criticized almost everybody, and everyone's got, sensitive feelings nowadays, as I told you guys about the Rivian story and Volkswagen story. But right now, I'm thinking about going to 3 different countries. One would be Laos, just because it's next door, and Cambodia. So maybe those 2. Bali, Indonesia, because Bali is Bali, and I haven't been, and it's like right there. Actually, just got a quote from my travel agent, for $499. Not exactly cheap. That's economy. Oh yeah, Nairobi, Kenya. I've been kind of thinking about it. Nairobi, Kenya was one of the top three countries I've considered to moving to. One was Philippines, another one was Thailand, and another one was Kenya. And if you watched my channel for a long time, you probably know why. On the comment section. All right, Jorge, by the way, soon, so if you have any questions or super chats, let it rain now, or otherwise we'll just have to meet next Wednesday. Jorge says a bit off topic, but if anyone here likes heavy metal type of music, look like, okay. Heavy metal recommendations. That's when you know that we probably are good to go. My voice held up for an hour and 30 minutes. It is 1:30 a.m. here. Thanks for joining me, guys. This is, as always, a treat for me, even though we did not stay on topic for too long, but we did all right. I will repost that part as a separate video. Don't know what we're going to do next week. I wanted to talk about, if I have one of the guests on, I'll try to get a guest on. Like I said, I have a couple of people lined up, but I didn't probably spend as much time as I should looking for guests. So maybe I'll do that this week. Tom Malogny is probably going to be here every month for sure, because I just enjoy having him on. And we used to have him on every week, and then format changed, and he got busy, and he got very popular. So we haven't done it in a while. So maybe we'll do it once a month. He was just on last week, which was a treat. Absolutely loved it. So we'll see. But I also wanted to address some topics like today and the last week, a week before, that maybe don't necessarily have to do with electric cars, because we're just bullshitting here, right? But still have some interest. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me, guys. Have a great the rest of your day or night if you're Southeast Asia or anywhere near my time zone. And I will see you tomorrow. And of course, remember to stay charged.